Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, I slurped my coffee, Mom. Good morning, everybody. I need to get that. Didn't realize the time again. Tell you what, I need a second alarm. They want to tell me when it's time to start. It's Tuesday, so we got special evening at the Cowboy Church this evening. We got Barry Ward's going to do a Christmas special. We're going to have a potluck at 5:30, and then we'll go into the service. It's going to be good. I am looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. We'll see who shows up early at 6 o'clock. This is not our normal time. Oh, I was trying to figure out what that was. I've never noticed that ever being in that's my little light. We'll get that out of the picture there. Morning, Scott Maloney. Good morning, Boyd Pete. We've got the things set up already for now. I will say this coffee is very good. It's the one that Barry Ward brings with him and sells. It's out of New Mexico. We ordered it online, and it is good. It is really good. Morning, Ryan Owens. I'll have to remember what the name of it is. Well, anyway, we'll think of it here in a minute. Well, Ryan, coming from the Eastern time zone so this is better time for you probably. All right, let's jump in here. Bill Lehman, good morning. We're gonna finish on chapter 14 of Proverbs. Now, if you're reading Proverbs along, and now I've got you messed up on reading it through in a month, if you're following along with me, but we're going through the book of Proverbs, and I encourage you to do so in your own time if you can. And as you do, there'll be certain things that maybe aren't relevant, not relevant, aren't targeting you right now because your life is, you've already got that in place. But boy, I tell you what, getting a hold of this as a young person, especially, but at any age, turning things. If you're not living these out, you don't already have them as part of your life. You can implement them because he's telling us the difference between wisdom and the wise and the unwise, the fool, and the godly and the evil. And he separates these all the time. So, yes, 5:30 is the fellowship dinner tonight, and then we'll do the Christmas dinner. And Lucy, good morning. All right, we're going to jump into this. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 14, and I want to start just in verse 12. It's kind of where we left off yesterday, and read the last half. If you haven't studied with us, we're reading through the book of Proverbs, going through most of these verses. Some of these chapters are long enough, it's hard to go through every verse in just a 10-minute or 12-minute actual study. So, but I want to hit a few of these. What I do with the Proverbs, because they hit different topics as he goes down through there. Sometimes there's a theme for that chapter, and he says things different ways. Sometimes he's just talking about one particular thing, and so it's the ones that really need to stand out and that grab me is the ones I underline a lot of times, and but they're all good for applying to our lives. Verse 12 says, "There's a path before each person that seems right, but it ends in death." He's really talking about the way that's sometimes it doesn't seem easy to walk with God. And I can tell you this, that when you make a commitment to Jesus Christ, there's challenges. Sometimes you lose friends depending on your family and situation. Sometimes it makes life complicated for a little while. I had a person tell me not too long ago that they said, every time I get close to God, things go become more difficult. Things go awry. It's like, and when I back off, then things get easy. I said, well, the devil doesn't want you to go the right way. Plus, there is you're kind of going against the stream, against the flow. A lot of times, friends and people reject you when you make a decision to follow God. But we got to understand, it's a life and death decision. When we just choose to live for God, we're choosing life. And when we reject God, we've put ourselves on a pathway to eternal death, which is hell. And that's a heavy thing. But the thing is, we got to understand is while there is a challenge in that and a difficulty and sometimes hardship in making that choice and that decision, the benefits outweigh the trouble. And that's what Proverbs talks so much about. He says there's a path before each person that seems right, but it ends in death. It may seem right, it may seem easy, but it ends in death. It said choose the right path. All right. Now, verse 13, laughter can conceal a heavy heart, but when the laughter ends, grief remains. He said, you can put on a good front, but in the end, what's on the inside is still going to be there. And so laughter or, the face of laughter, the face of being positive can cover things. But what's underneath, and God knows those things. We can hide our feelings and things from people sometimes, but God is going to realize, or God's going to see what's in our heart. And it says backsliders get what they deserve, but good people receive their reward. So he just is contrasting good and evil, right and wrong, godly and ungodly. I like this, verse 15 says, only simpletons believe everything they're told, but the prudent carefully consider their steps. Again, the prudent, those that are looking to their future and making a plan, realizing, looking ahead enough to know kind of what it's going to take to have success where you're going. Verse 17, short-tempered people do foolish things, and schemers are hated. Boy, people that are manipulating and scheming, that's an irritation to us. But notice it says, short-tempered people do foolish things. I don't know about you, but I have used to have a short temper, and I did foolish things. I can say that. I punched a cow in the head, broke this bone in my body because she wouldn't hold her head still so I could ear tag her. Kind of a dumb thing, but I did that and broke that bone in my hand and had to feed all that winter, or big part of that winter, for 6 or 8 weeks with one hand, while this one was in a cast clear out to here, so I couldn't move that hand at all. And I'm right-handed. So I did that all with my left hand. Fortunately, I'm pretty ambidextrous. I can do most things with my left hand if I have to. But that was no fun, and I never forgot that. Simpletons are clothed with foolishness, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. So again, he's talking about that prudence, using that word. Those that'll plan, those that'll think about the future, those that'll set themselves up for success. Verse 21 says, it is a sin to belittle one's neighbor. Blessed are those who help the poor. So he says, don't be belittling people. Don't make people, don't emphasize their weaknesses or their failures or the things that make them less than. Build them up and help people to become better. The fool won't receive it, so they're making that decision, but don't you be the one that withholds help and wisdom and the thing for those that need it. Verse 22, if you plan to do evil, you will be lost. If you plan to do good, you'll receive unfailing love and faithfulness. And that's from God. Unfailing love and faithfulness from God, and he'll cause others to love you and bless you as well. Now, verse 23, work brings profit, but mere talk leads to poverty. He said, if you're always talking about doing something but not doing it, you say, well, I'm gonna fix that fence, or I'm gonna get that application done. I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I build a list of things I'm going to do. I write a to-do list. Sue helps me out with that. My wife, she makes sure I got the honey-do list, and once in a while I have to tell her, look, don't add anything to it till I get this part done. You need to help me out here. But what works with me is I write things down, and I have to prioritize. And I think we can't just let the list rule us, because a lot of times other people are putting things on our list, and you'll be run ragged by other people. So you have to prioritize. Some things can't be done just because they're at the top of the list. Sometimes something on down here has to get done that day, maybe. But if you keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, you're talking about it, but you're not doing it. And I just challenge you, if something's on my list too long, eventually it's like, okay, today this is going away. This is getting done, whether anything else gets done or not. Sometimes you just have to stay up a little later, change your plan, do whatever you got to do. Get up a little earlier, you're going to get this done. I think there's a difference between just talking about doing and doing. That's kind of what I see out of that verse. Work brings profit, but mere talk leads to poverty. That's Proverbs chapter 14, verse 23. Now, verse 24 says, the wealth is a crown for the wise, but the efforts of fools yields only foolishness. Let's go down to verse 27. He says, the fear of the Lord is a life-giving fountain. It offers an escape from the snares of death. So, all of this is great advice. All of this is from God. It's from, it's God inspiring men to write this down and put this in the Bible and be a part of our instruction manual on how to live. But it all hinges on the full blessing of this, and the ability to apply this hinges on that fear of the Lord. Will we fear God? In other words, will we say, God, there is a God in this world, and I am not it. I want to honor you in what I do. And considering our life against what God has set up, we can try to control and set and decide and do and plan and all these things. But what should come in above it all is, God, what is your will for my life, and what do you want me to do? How do you want me to do? And the more we walk in that fear and that respect and that honor, it is a life-giving fountain for our life. And so it brings life into our life and blessing into our life. Now, verse 29 says, the people with understanding control their anger. A hot temper shows great foolishness. And boy, that one will cut to the heart if you're a person who lets their emotions rule them. And anger being one of the chief anger or chief emotions that leads to things. How many times in anger do you do something? Have we all done? We've all surely been guilty of this, or many of us. I certainly have been angry, and out of anger say something, do something. You get mad at, it doesn't always have to be people. Sometimes an inanimate object like a wrench or a nut or a bolt. You miss the nail and hit your hand, and you're mad at that hammer, or you're mad at that nail, and it's really the hand-eye coordination that you did. But sometimes we get angry because something won't work, and then it results in something bad. In relationships, we get angry, and if you let anger rule, you will say things you wished you wouldn't have, right? And you'll do it in a way that brings great damage, great harm. That can be towards people at work. That can be towards people you don't even know. I mean, think about road rage and the things that happen that's done in anger. But it can also go towards cattle. I saw a T-shirt my sister sent me. We were working on T-shirts for the ministry, and there was a T-shirt that said, "Raising cattle will build character, but working them will build language." I thought that was funny. And most of you who've ever worked cattle understand that. That is pretty funny. Let's move on. Verse 30. A peaceful heart leads to a healthy body. Jealousy is like a cancer in the bones. Now, here's something that, one of the reasons that God calls us and commands us to forgive is because when we forgive, we release that person and we set ourselves free from the burden of bitterness, of anger, of all these other things. A peaceful heart leads to a healthy body. Bitterness, unforgiveness, resentment, all of those hate, all of those things. And he adds jealousy in here, which is a same type of, it's tied to pride. All those things, they really do affect our health. And there's places in the Bible where it points that out, but even science has proven that there is the anger, all these emotions and all these things held within, they cause health issues. And so he says a peaceful heart leads to a healthy body. He says you need to be at peace. Be at peace with God, be at peace with yourself, be at peace with others, and be peaceful over what you have at the moment, and don't be jealous, because jealousy, and I'll add bitterness, and because there's other scriptures that talk about that as well. Bitterness, resentment, unforgiveness, all those things are like a cancer in the bones. And so we can develop an ability to be happy, truly happy for others when they have things that we'd like to have, or they've done well and they get accolades, or they're successful. Don't let jealousy rule you. Put that aside and let God then promote you and develop you into the place that He needs you, or He desires you to be, and you'll be at peace, and it'll bring health to your body, because it brings peace to your mind, and doesn't have all the negative things that are going on in and through our bodies. Let's go down. I'm going to wrap this up. Let's go down to verse 33. Wisdom is enshrined in an understanding heart. Wisdom is not found among fools. Wisdom is not found. Wisdom is fools don't have it. But he says wisdom is enshrined in an understanding heart. Godliness makes a nation great, and this is something that I believe we're seeing the effects in our nation of a lack of godliness. But godliness makes a nation great, but sin is a disgrace to any people. The things that our leaders sometimes pass that goes directly against God's word, goes directly against how He made us, and goes directly against what God established as right, and then gives a freedom to kill and to destroy. Those things are just a direct opposition to God, and they affect the whole nation. But godliness makes a nation great. Here's the thing. We can control us, and we can control and affect and influence those around us towards godliness. So let's live for godliness. Let's live right, and follow the Word of God, apply it. So there you go. Today is Tuesday, and just encourage you to go out today and be a blessing. Do something good for somebody, and go get them for Jesus. Love y'all. Let's see who came on after. Morning, Brandy. Morning, Sean. Mayfield. Brad Mays. Good morning. Jeff. Valerie. Mara. Got a few more that came on. Lucy. Good morning. Came on after I started. 6 o'clock's the early time. We don't have as many live with us, but man, I tell you what, it's a good day. Barry Ward Christmas singing tonight. It'll be good. Potluck at 5:30. Come on out if you're in the Enid area. Come out and join us. Otherwise, be blessed in the rest of your week.